Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by two coaches, Coach Amir and Coach Connor from Russell Sage. Welcome, guys.
Thanks, Matt. We're super pumped to be here. We've been looking forward to this for a little while now. So thanks for having us
Uh,
on.
you, you shouldn't start by lying because that just gets you off on the wrong foot. No one's looking forward to sitting down and to. No, I'm just teasing you. No, it's fun, and I mean, I guess I've been doing this 3 years now. And it was cool because this weekend I was at ID camps with my daughter and ran into two different coaches that I've interviewed. So it's good. So hopefully things are well up there in Albany, New York, probably a little cooler than they are down here in Florida right now.
No, it's not bad. These last couple days haven't been bad. It gets hot though sometimes. I was in Florida maybe a month or two ago, and it was hotter in Albany than it was in Florida, but that's the exception, definitely not the rule.
For sure, for sure. Well, let's get into it here. We're talking end of July. As a D3 men's program, when did you kind of wrap up that 25 class, and how far along are you with 26s, and have you even started really talking to 27s?
Yeah, it's a good question. We're actually still working on just a couple 2025. So we're lucky we have rolling admission. And there's a potential student athlete that we just had on campus a week and a half ago that we're super excited about that we hope it works out with him. He was someone that we originally recruited 4 or 5 years ago. Identified 4 or 5 years ago, went and played in Spain for 4 or 5 years, and now he's back looking for a home for this fall, and he was just on campus. So not all that it doesn't always happen that way, but we'll recruit up until August 15th if we have to in order to get the best possible players in. With that being said, we have definitely shifted our focus to our 2026 class. We were just at a great ID camp over in Cortland this past weekend where we saw a number of really good players. And it was, like I said, mostly 2026s that we're looking at, but there were a couple 2027s that we identified there as well at that camp.
Okay. What about roster size for you guys? What is your ideal roster, or what you're trying to hit each year with numbers?
Yeah, ideal roster is right around 30, which I think I saw one of your studies or one of your things that you put out actually that said something along the lines of a average college soccer roster being 30, which for us it's been around that, plus or minus a few, 30, 32, 33, 29, right in that range. Ideal roster size would be something like 28, but it usually ends up being right around 30, maybe a couple more than that. Just with how recruiting shakes out, we tend to get more commits than we anticipate year in and year out, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but
Yeah.
I would say right around 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned going out to Cortland, but when you're recruiting, kind of where do you like to go, whether that's leagues, tournaments, high school, that kind of thing? Where do you guys spend your time predominantly looking at players?
We look everywhere. We look everywhere. We've gone to pickup games. We've gone to high school games. Connor's works at a high school, so he's very in tune with the best players locally at the high schools. We've gone to ID camps. We've My first season here, arguably one of our better recruits was a kid that I saw on Twitter, who I never saw play live, but you could clearly see on film that he had something to him. Our captain, one of our captains this fall is going to be a student athlete that I saw on Twitter, only saw film of him, came on a campus visit, loved it, committed here, spent 2 years here, junior year, he's a captain. So for us, we will look anywhere and everywhere. We will, go to the major ECNL tournaments, the MLS Next. But of course, there's a lot of really other good tournaments that we're gonna go to. And it might even be a pickup game. Connor, I don't know if you want to expand on that at all.
I think you hit the nail on the head right there. I mean, we recruit everywhere. We don't just specifically go to like high schools or tournaments. Like if you're a quality soccer player, then we're trying to get you on our team. Like the players that we bring in, we try to make sure the players we bring in are better than the players that we have right now in order to grow the program. So wherever we have to look to find guys, we're willing to travel and actually do that together, which is nice.
Okay. Well, what about ID camps? Do you guys do your own or work other ID camps? Are they part of your recruiting process at all?
Yeah, we do have our own ID camp. We typically have it at the end of the fall. Last year it was like first weekend in December. The year before that it was in November. So we've had ID camps since we've been here. And we also go to other ID camps. I was just at an ID camp a few weeks ago down in Florida at Florida International. We were just this past weekend at Cortland's ID camp, really good camp, lots of quality players there. Connor, you were at a ID camp, a week or two before Cortland. So yeah, no, we like the ID camps. We go to those quite a bit.
Well, whether it's at an ID camp or through video or seeing a player play in person, kind of what makes up that hierarchy of things you're looking for in a player?
Yeah, no, the soccer player obviously matters, right? Who you are on the field, what you do on the field. But for us, the most important and probably the biggest non-negotiable is who you are as a person. And we tell recruits that up front. We tell the parents that up front. If you're not going to be a good person, a good teammate, then Sage is not going to be a good fit for you. And I think we've done a really good job just in these last couple years getting the right guys in the program that are bought in, that are there for each other, that are good teammates, that are going to take care of all the other stuff off the field, all the details off of the field. So, one of the things that we've talked about lately a lot that we're really proud of is the fact that, our team GPA this past spring, 34 guys was a 3.61. That's impressive for a group of 34 guys, and that's super important for us as well. One of my favorite stories that I like to tell recruits and parents when they come on campus for a visit is one of our professors telling me right around Thanksgiving, she showed up for an 8 a.m. class the day before everyone left for Thanksgiving break. It was dark out. It was cold. The lights were off in the classroom. She expected to walk in with no one in class and everyone already gone for vacation. She walked in, and the only three students that were there were men's soccer players. So those are things that we take a lot of pride in. Culture isn't just a buzzword; it's something that we work on day in and day out. Yeah, like I said, the big non-negotiable for us is, are you a good person? Are you going to be a good teammate? And then, of course, the soccer stuff is really important as well. Connor, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, I think since Amir's been here, he's done a really good job establishing a solid culture where the guys feel like, regardless if you're a starter or if you don't play at all throughout the season, you feel included on the team, and you feel like when you're around the team, you kind of forget about everything else. But me and Amir, I feel like we established with the boys like not to cut corners, and I think that translates to a lot of other things in the classroom. We reiterate to the boys, that this is only 4 years that we're together, and after this 4 years, like you want to be able to have those same skills of showing up to practice ready, whether that's showing up to work ready, and just being ready to perform. So like when an opportunity comes your way, you're prepared and ready for that opportunity. So I think we're still growing that and still building that, but the group we have right now, I think, is all on the same page in that sense.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the school. Um, Kind of dive into what you find is awesome about the school, maybe some things we wouldn't even know by going through the website.
Yeah, the school is it's an interesting setup. We have two campuses. It's all one school, but two campuses. So the original campus was in Troy, New York. It's still in Troy, New York, right downtown, right down the road from RPI. Um, we added the Albany campus not too long ago, so now we've got the two campuses. And depending on your major, most of your classes are either going to be in Troy or most of your classes are going to be in Albany. The other thing that just happened in the last few months here is we announced a merger. So we're merging with the Albany College of Pharmacy, which will be great for us, especially from like a facility standpoint, right? We always shared a field with the Albany College of Pharmacy. Now that field is going to be Russell Sage College's field. Two years down the road. Uh, the other really big benefit to Sage is the location. We're right in Albany, New York. Like I'm looking out the window right now, and downtown is just a few steps away. So you can walk, almost anywhere. There's a lot of opportunities for the boys, for internships, for jobs, things like that. Being right downtown Albany, a lot of really good programs, especially the sciences. We have a lot of guys that are in the business program, the sports management program. The we have PE, which surprisingly there aren't that many schools in the state of New York with physical education. We are one of them, so that's also really nice for us. And we're central. We're easily accessible. You're just 2.5 hours from the city, not far from Long Island, not far from Western New York. Um, and it is a small private school, so we've been able to expand and branch out and get guys from as far as, Texas and South Carolina and Michigan, different areas like that. Connor, you want to add anything to that? Connor actually did his master's at Russell Sage, so he might have a different perspective on things.
Yeah, I finished up my master's program in professional school counseling in spring of 2023. Right now, I'm a full-time school counselor at Ichabod Crane High School, which is near Hudson, New York. But since I've been there, I mean, Sage has taken steps um, to grow and expand. And one of those big things is combining with ACP, and we're really, really excited about that. And we don't know like what that's necessarily going to look like yet, but they do share campuses, so we're expecting like to have like one combined big campus now and facility upgrades, and we're just really excited to see what that looks like.
Okay. Well, let's kind of fast forward or rewind your choice into say October, heart of that conference season. Kind of walk me through what does a typical week look like for players in terms of when is practice, game cadence, meals, classes, all that jazz.
Connor, I'll let you take this one. I've taken most of them. You can take this one.
What is, say that one more time? What does
Just
preseason look like?
no, no. T Typical week during the conference season, October. We know preseason's different. It's going to be different for everybody. But really, when you're in the meat of things, what does a typical week look like for a player?
Well, we try to practice 6 days a week. Um, our game schedule is a little bit different. So, like on a Wednesday, we could have a game all the way in Elmira, New York, which is a 3.5 to 4 hour drive, and the boys have to be back on campus maybe for an 8 a.m. class that Thursday. But we do have weekend games too. I mean, during the week, we're just preparing for games. So, I mean, me and Amir usually meet throughout the week to plan practices and watch game film. And, each game is different. So we kind of like put our brains together and figure out the best strategy going forward, which is going to be different game by game. But the collaboration between us and the ability of the players to kind of listen to us and hear us out and kind of we're all on the same page with having a plan like on game day, which is really really good too. So we're just on the same page and you know yeah. So
Okay.
The only thing that I would add, right? Like, I think when student athletes go into college, they have this vision of what college athletics is, and a lot of times it is a lot of those things. Connor touched on it briefly, right? But the midweek game in Elmira at 7 o'clock at night, that's 3.5 hours from campus. Game ends at 9. By the time you shower, it's 10 o'clock. Um, you hit the road at 10:15. You're eating on the bus. You're not back on campus until 11, 12, 1:30, 2 o'clock at the latest. You're in bed by 2:30. You have an 8 a.m. class the next day. You have practice later that afternoon. Those are things that I think when student athletes are preparing for college aren't necessarily thinking about, which are really, really hard. So we remind the guys that all of that stuff is part of the process and that it's really important to go to that 8 a.m. class, regardless of how you feel. And then, we also put a big emphasis on recovery days, right? Like recovery is really, really important in a college soccer schedule, considering how many games you're playing in a short time. So, yes, we train or play 6 days a week, but those days look very different depending on where we are in the week with games, after games, training, right? Like we try really, really hard to manage the load and to keep that in mind when we design and prepare training sessions and even travel itineraries.
No, it makes sense. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the team. Obviously, we talked about roster size. We've got you two on here as staff. But talk to me. Are there any other staff? Are there any support staff in the athletic department that are helping out with the team on a regular basis? Kind of what's everybody's role?
No, right now it's Connor and I. We basically do everything together, just him and I. I was a goalkeeper and when I played in college, so I will, take the goalkeepers at times and do some goalkeeper training with them. I do wish we had someone that worked with the goalkeepers 30 to 45 minutes every single day. We just don't have that right now, so I'll take that on. A couple days a week, sometimes less, sometimes more. But no, it's Connor and I. We do everything together. We have the support staff that we have on campus. We have athletic training. We have we're adding a part-time strength and conditioning coach. So we definitely don't have the resources that some programs do, but we make do with what we have, and I think we do a good job with what we do have.
Okay. Well, what about you, Amir? Talk to us about your coaching style and maybe more about the style of play you guys look to play there.
Yeah, no, the style of play is really important to us, and it's something that we talk about a lot. And I love that question from recruits because I think when recruits ask that question, they're thinking attacking style of play, forgetting that there's attacking style of play, defensive style of play, and then of course transitional style of play. So for us, our attacking style of play is in short, right? We win the ball, can we score right away? If we can't score, can we assist? If we can't assist, can we stay patient? Statistically speaking, most goals are scored within 7 seconds of winning the ball back. So we do try to score right away. But we are also very okay with staying patient, keeping the ball, keeping possession of the ball until something opens up if we can't score right away. Transitionally, again, like I just said, can we try to score right away? Transitionally in defense, can we win the ball back within 5 seconds of losing it to prevent that potential goal within the 7 seconds of winning the ball back? And then defensive style of play, can we defend high up the field? We want to defend as high up the field as possible, almost to a fault. I think sometimes we press and defend so high up the field, but the thought is you win the ball, you're that much closer to the goal that you're trying to score. So that's the super short version of what our style of play is. We present a bunch of stuff to the guys, and we will this preseason as well on what that should look like with film and different animations and clips and presentations, and then of course on the field we train it as well. But as far as my coaching style goes, it's very two-wayed, right? So like we'll ask the guys um what coaching style they respond to the best, how they want to be coached. We understand that everyone's a little bit different in that sense. We want to get to know them on a deeper, much, much deeper level than just soccer. Um, because if it's just soccer all the time, X's and O's, you're not going to get the best out of the athletes. So for us, it's getting to know them on a much deeper level and being very open to even their input and insights that they might have, with the understanding that, sometimes we'll go with what they say, sometimes we won't. Connor, I don't know if you want to add anything.
I think that was well said. I mean, again, we're not just here for soccer; they're here for an education too. So it's like one of the biggest decisions they've made in their life, if not the biggest decision they've made in their life, leading up to graduating high school. So we're trying to be more than a coach at every time we interact with the guys throughout the season. We're trying to be, mentors and role models as well. So whatever we have to do to help the boys, grow, and whatever we have to do to like, just be there for them, it goes beyond just coaching.
Awesome. Well, guys, I really appreciate the time and all the insight. I'm gonna leave you with one last question, and I'll leave it for both of you. If you had one piece of advice for anybody going through this college recruiting process right now, what would that be?
The fit is really, really important. The fit is really, really important, and that fit is going to look a little different for everybody, right? Some people want to go to a place with really nice, flashy, brand new facilities and new turf that gets replaced every 2 years. Other guys need to be in an environment where they're really cared for, where they feel cared for. Um, so that fit is just really important. And then I always tell student athletes, recruits that are on campus, and it's honestly advice that I'm sure a lot of coaches give, but could you see yourself here if you weren't playing soccer? Because the soccer is only a small piece of it. You're playing soccer for a couple months out of the year, and then the rest of the time, you're still with your teammates. But there's a lot more to college than just the soccer. I don't want you to make your decision based solely off of soccer.
Yeah, I'd kind of reiterate the same message and, just tell the boys, just any guy looking to play at the next level, just take it day by day. Um, some of these guys are in high school, they're all stars in their section or their region, but when they get to the college level, there's a lot of guys that, um, are just as good as them, if not better. And you're entering college as a 17-year-old and you might be playing with 22, 23, 24-year-olds at times. So you might not get the same opportunity you did once you were in high school, but taking it day by day and seeing how you can get better, and having some intention going into each practice and just being a good teammate, will kind of leave you at ease a little bit more than just expecting everything right off the bat.
Absolutely. Good advice. Well, gentlemen, I really appreciate the time. Wish you the best of luck as you get ready to start this season. And if you get down to any of the recruiting events in Bradenton, give me a shout, all right?
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Matt.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you
Matt.
guys.
All right, talk soon.